Welcome to the Strategic Oracle, the transmission space where timing meets soul and wealth begins with the rhythm. Let's begin. February is a month that has Uranus at its center. What does that mean? It is zany, it is crazy, it is unsettling, and it is a push for forward momentum. So if you are feeling that you've done a lot of leaning into the future, getting rid of things that just feel heavy, it's going to be a really good month. It's going to be a good month internally. If you haven't done those things, you're going to be swept up in the external, and the external is going to be chaotic. So we've always known this month was going to be chaotic. Yes, we do know we're situated into that beginning of that 9-year cycle. We know that we're in the second month of the new beginnings year. We know that the year is filled with opportunities. We know all those things. And so our mind immediately says, oh, this is going to be awesome. Opportunities are going to fall from the sky. Those things that I've wanted to finish are just going to complete. The sales that I want, the people that I don't want to be with anymore, they're just going to magically sort themselves. I wish that things work like that all the time. They don't work like that. We must take action. So if you've been taking action, February is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to observe. It's going to be really cool to see what opens and what activates. And if not, then you're going to feel as if you are in like a Cracker Jack box, right? And you're like shaking it up, and then you're just like all over the place because it feels like popcorn. Why? Because it's Uranus, right? So we've got the sun in Aquarius for the first 3 weeks, but we have Uranus confronting Mercury, then Venus, then the sun, then Mars. And what does that mean? That means that what you're thinking, what you're feeling, who you're connecting with, what actions you're taking, and how you feel at the core are being shaken up. And this is all to get us ready for the February 20th date of that Saturn-Neptune combination that I've been talking about ad nauseum for the last few months. The stars will always give us a window, a door, a peek, an open curtain before it pushes us out of the house. Always. It always does that. It just depends on if we're observant of that, if we're mindful of that, if we're intentional about that. We just have them all coming up at the same time just because that's just how the stars happen to be. So the stars never do anything coincidentally. They always do things intentionally. So this is a very intentional time. That wake-up call we had last March, if we heeded it, we're situated in a pretty good place. If we didn't heed it, then I don't know. I mean, I can't do anything about that, right? Like, all I can do is convey what the stars are telling, and it's up to everybody to take it or not take it. So I just want to go through the big star events because there's a handful. And so there's nothing more than that February 20th, honestly. The other ones around it just help inform that February 20th. So on the 3rd, we have Uranus turning direct. So we know that those outer planets every single year, they position themselves, they look like they're going slower than we are around the sun. And when that happens, there's this energy, like imagine like there's like 2 horses in a race and we're each galloping at the same pace. And then one pulls ahead and the other one pulls behind. At least that's the appearance of it, right? And so you can imagine that horse that's pulled behind is going to be having a little bit of a drag, right? That's what happens with these planets. So Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years, been there since 2018, did enter Gemini in July of 2025, was there for a few months, went back into Taurus, and is going to be in Taurus until April, but turns direct right now. So what is this? This is like that final sweep of anything to do with the body, with your relationship with nature, with your money, with how you position yourself on a daily basis, with how you feel like that you are a sanctuary or your home is a sanctuary. All that is up for review. It can be a revisitation of things that happened in 2018. Why? Because the planet of Uranus wants to ensure that you are standing in your future. And so if you are not doing things that are supportive of your future self, Uranus will get rid of it. And he doesn't do it in this slow, like tap on the shoulder, like, hey, girl, I got you. Hey, guy, look over here. He does it and he sweeps the leg. And literally, you're like, boom, you're on your butt. And you look up and you're like, I didn't know that that was going to happen. And so when he turns direct, now it's not like this exact same day, like that, because he's a big, huge planet that is like a gajillion miles from us. So it happens over time. It's just, I need to make note of this for you on the particular timing because we've been feeling it. We've been feeling it all through January, whether we've heeded it or not. And we've probably especially been feeling it this last week. And so he's asking all those questions that I just said: money, body, health, position in life, home, sanctuary, creature comforts. Think about that. Sometimes we get way too comfortable, and he doesn't want us to get way too comfortable because he doesn't want us to have a complacent life. That's what he's all about. 10 days later, Saturn re-enters Aries. Now remember, on May 24th of 2025, Saturn entered Aries. Saturn does this every 30 years. Last time was 1996 through 1998. If it depends on what your age is right now, think about that time and think about what was going on for you then. And then think about like, I wonder what's going to come up again. And Saturn in Aries is a take no prisoners energy. So it's like, who wins, the maverick or the FBI agent? You know what I mean? Because that's one of them is Aries, the maverick, and the other one is Saturn. And it's like, so am I going to follow the rules and the law and make sure everything is like perfect and prioritize everything, make sure I'm doing the right thing? Or am I going to like throw down and make everybody take notice? Probably going to be a combination of both. So that happens. Saturn stays in Aries for the next 3 years. Then we have the start of the ecliptic pair on the 17th. And this is called the Ring of Fire only because the sun is going to look like it illuminates around in a ring. And so when that happens, it's just of note because this happens to be the first day of Chinese New Year as well, and it's in the fire horse. So if you've been in tune online or in TikTok or whatever, you'll be seeing people talk about, oh my God, 2026 is going to be so fiery, like, right? This is one of the reasons. So the last time that the Chinese New Year fell on an eclipse was in 2009. The time before that was in 1980. Just of note. So if you think about it, you're like, okay, so this isn't something that happens every year. The Chinese New Year happens every year. Eclipses happen in pairs twice a year. But this overlay of each one of these, they don't happen that often. So interesting to note. I'm not making a particular note of it other than this is a window that opens up for the 20th, and that's what I'm looking at all of these about. So we've got that very fiery energy of Aries. We've got that very airy energy of Aquarius. And so, what does fire need? Fire needs a match to be lit and it needs air to convey it, right? So let's look at how not to have kindling that just needs a strike of a match. That's another way to say, like, clean up your stuff. Like, literally, if you got something to tie off, tie it off. This is not the time to kick things down the road. Now, as I say this also isn't the time to take big leaps. I've been talking about being very measured, very deliberate, very stick to your guns, very much about making a pivot of only like 5 degrees versus a whole sweeping change. Now, if Uranus comes and knocks you to your knees, then that means that you've needed it, right? But it's not going to be something you initiate. It's going to be something that you respond to. So stay flexible, stay nimble. And if something does come and you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, take a great big breath and just know that Uranus has your back. It always works out for your benefit. Always. I mean, literally 100% of the time. So take a deep breath. And again, if you've been doing lots of things and if you've been hanging out with me for a while and you've been taking action based on what I've been saying, you've been doing this stuff. So there might be some edges that need to be refined. There might be some tweaks that need to be made. There might be some things that you're like, yeah, I knew that wasn't for me. I just didn't feel like having that conversation, or I just didn't feel like taking care of it. Just take care of it now. It's easy. Just do it. Because I always ask this question of clients, like, why is it okay to disappoint yourself versus disappointing someone else? Because the disappointment for yourself is long lasting because you carry it with you. The disappointing for the other person could be as quick as a conversation. It could be like, oh, I was thinking the same thing. Okay. So the February 20th thing, like I have a whole podcast about that. We'll put in the show notes. I've done the forecast for the year. It's in there too. We'll put all that stuff in the show notes. So the 20th, big deal. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I want to give February some breath. So the 26th, Mercury, it's our first Mercury retrograde of the year. And so it's in water. So this Mercury retrograde is a blessing because after we have all this airy fire, like all this fuel, we get water coming in to say, let's go take a bath. Let's just chill out. Let's just take a minute. Let's situate ourselves and just get all comfy cozy. Honestly, Mercury's Mercury, so he's going to be twitty, but it's not going to be the flick in the face that's felt like it typically is, only because it's juxtaposed as in a water sign. So it feels soothing. It feels like a nice wave or a mist or a fog, not necessarily like a big whipping storm. So we can take respite in this, like over the next 3 weeks. So from the 26th, it's at 1:48 a.m. Eastern time. So for some people, it'll be the 25th. I don't want you to get confused about that. And it lasts until the 20th of March. So we've got a nice 3.5 week time frame where we are seeped in water. And that eclipse that happens on the 17th is also in water. So let's take advantage of that. So I don't necessarily want to bring, particular dates in for weeks. Go ahead and read my blog article. We'll put that in the show notes too, and it goes through the weekly. I don't know if I'm going to go through anything else except for the magical tools, just to give us something else to grab hold of, not out of like, oh my goodness reaction, but just out of like let me plant myself more firmly. Let me be galvanized in what my orientation and my goals and who I am. This is all a strengthening energy for you. And in so saying, the Oracle card was the card of opportunity. And so what are you saying yes to? How are you saying, and I'm going to ask it differently. How are you saying yes to yourself? Is something really an opportunity for you, or is it an opportunity for somebody else that they want you to do? That's a really good question to ask yourself. The flower essence is clematis. Now, clematis is really interesting because clematis is for people who are distracted or kind of living in that dreamy, vague, maybe someday I'll do something energy, and it helps harness your energetic signature so you actually will take action. It doesn't make you take action, but it helps you stay grounded enough so that you can take action. And then snow leopard is the spirit animal, and I adore snow leopard. Snow leopard is a watcher, an observer. He has a vantage point high in the Himalayas, and he is making sure that the spiritual realm is being called forth. And I love labradorite. That's another psychic connection crystal, and it helps, or energy. It helps you to be connected with your inner wisdom. And so if you notice that there's a vibe here, there's a vibe of you following your own path. There's a vibe of you shining your own brilliance. There's a vibe of you allowing your own unique energy to be imprinted in the world. There's a vibe of you being that observer, that watcher, and the responder versus the reactor. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the world. I can't say. I do know that there's a shakeup. There's energetic shakeup going on. I've talked to you about, hey, if you've got a lot of money in the stock market, let's just take it and just kind of be super conservative this month. I've already said that. Same with crypto, right? We got that window the third week of November. Look what happened when the full moon of January, which was the 3rd of January. I mean, please. I knew there was going to be some leadership whatever, and there was certainly leadership whatever. So when I look at the energy of things still breaking down, things out of chaos being changed, that's how real change happens. Real change doesn't happen because some person sat in a room and decided, hey, this is a good idea. And then they continued to sit in the room thinking it was a good idea. Change happens when somebody says, oh, gee, this is a really good idea. And then lots of people also think that it's a good idea because that person would have taken action or things would have enabled people to see and find that person with the good idea. And then people have to roll up their sleeves and dive in, and they have to go against the grain. They have to take the path not, laid out before them. They have to step into the unknown and they have to say, okay, let's do this. That's what's happening in the world right now. And whether we're doing something or not, we want to choose our lane and say, this is what I choose to do. This is how I am going to live my life. This is how I'm going to bring the future for me and all of the people around me. This is how I'm making it come true. Because I've titled this, Are You Fueling Your Future Self? There is so much goodness in the universal energies to support you in living who you are truly meant to be. Who's with me? You've been listening to the Strategic Oracle, where success isn't scaled from speed, but from soul. If this stirred something real, follow it. Apply for activation, enter the vault, or pause right here. Integration is leadership too. Because the truth is, you were never meant to chase the timing. You are meant to become it.